Namaste. Welcome to the Nirvega Vidya channel. In this video, we shall look at the Yoga-Raja Upanishad. Now, when it comes to this Upanishad, I ran into a tiny roadblock. I was not able to find any English translation of it. The only proper version that I found was a Hindi translation by a website run by the Aurobindo Trust. I'll be providing the link in the comment section. I do not understand Hindi, so I have taken the help of a friend of mine as well as Google Translate to make sense of the Upanishad. So in case there are certain places where my interpretation is wrong or incorrect, kindly do let me know so that I can correct it. So with that, let's get into the Yoga-Raja Upanishad. The Upanishad starts by enumerating 4 kinds of yoga: Mantra Yoga, Laya Yoga, Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga. It does not say much about Mantra Yoga and Laya Yoga. It says Vatsa Raja is considered to be a master of Mantra Yoga. Krishna Bharadwaj, who is Veda-Vyasa, the one who wrote the Mahabharata, is considered to be a master of Laya Yoga. That's all it says. The Yoga-Raja Upanishad, just like the Yoga-Tattva Upanishad, does not make a clear distinction between Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga. It directly goes on to say that there are 4 limbs of yoga. And what are they? Asana, Prana Samrodha. Samrodha means proper retention, proper restraint. And so Samrodha, Prana Samrodha basically refers to pranayama, dhyana and samadhi. So these are the 4 limbs of yoga. Now, the Upanishad says that there are 9 chakras in the body, as opposed to the traditional 7 chakra system. It says there are 9 chakras. And the names it gives to the 9 chakras are also not the old one. It does not use the word Muladhara, for example, or Manipura, Anahata, all that. It uses its own other terms, so it's important to pay attention to them. By meditating on these 9 chakras, the Mahatmas, the great beings, attain various results, various siddhis, various accomplishments. And it says what are the results of meditating on each chakra. The first chakra is the Brahma chakra, which is the Muladhara, which is in the form of a triangle. It is located in the seat of Apana, which is the anus region, and the resting place of the Kundalini Shakti. Kundalini Shakti, before it gets aroused, is said to lie dormant in the Muladhara chakra. It is said to be Kama Rupam, of the form of desire. One ought to meditate on this chakra being desirous of liberation. The second chakra is the Swadhisthana chakra, and it is situated in the region of the reproductive organs. The Upanishad says that one should meditate on the light of this chakra and attract the universe. Perhaps what they mean is that when one meditates on the Swadhisthana chakra and attains mastery over it, he would be able to attract anything he wants in the universe. The third chakra is the Nabhi chakra, the navel region, Manipura practically, which is said to be the place where the entire universe resides. One who meditates on this chakra attains all perfections. The fourth chakra is the Hridaya chakra, Anahata chakra, in the heart region. The yogi should meditate on the Hamsa, which is the supreme soul present in this region, residing in the light of the heart region to gain control over the whole universe. The fifth chakra is the Kantha chakra, the throat region, which has the Ida on the left, Pingala on the right, and Sushumna in the middle. Meditating on this chakra grants the yogi all accomplishments. The sixth chakra is the Taluka chakra, which is in the palate region, right behind the upper palate. It resides between the Vishuddhi and the Ajna chakra. By dissolving the mind in the void of this chakra, the yogi attains liberation. The seventh chakra is the Bhru chakra, which is practically Ajna chakra, between the eyebrows, which is also called the Vidya Bindu Sthanam, the place of knowledge and the Bindu. Bindu is a term we find mentioned a lot in yogic texts. It refers to a kind of a secretion which gives amrita. In modern terminology, there are certain places where Bindu is translated to mean the melatonin hormone secreted by the pineal gland. But there are controversies about it, so let's not go into that. By meditating on the spherical light of this chakra, of the Bhru chakra, the yogi attains liberation. The eighth chakra is the Brahmaranthra chakra, which is Sahasrara practically, on the crown of the head, which indicates ultimate liberation. By meditating on this chakra, which is of the form of smoke, the yogi attains liberation. We'll find this repeated again and again, that the yogi attains liberation by meditating on, this chakra, that chakra, everything. So that's just how the Upanishad is. The ninth chakra and the final of the 9 chakras is the 16-petaled Vyoma chakra, which resides between in the space between the Ida and the Pingala. By meditating on the power, the Kundalini Shakti that is blocked at the base of the spine of this chakra, the yogi becomes freed. By meditating on these 9 chakras separately or collectively, the yogi attains liberation. So, this is what the Upanishad says about the 9 chakras and the results of meditating on them. Basically, says that if you meditate on one chakra properly or meditate on all the chakras, you would attain liberation. So, just know the names of these chakras. They are not the traditional names attributed to the 7 chakras. So, focus on that. It's a relatively tiny Upanishad, 21 verses. And as I had mentioned, please do go through the link that I attached in the comment section, which has the Hindi translation. And do let me know in the comments if any part of the explanation that I have presented is incorrect or could be modified, or if there is something I've missed out, please do let me know. Thank you.